Haunted houses. True scary stories. Our scary and horror stories are designed to send chills down your spine. Enjoy the spine-tingling stories thrill. Story number 1. The Whispering Walls. In a secluded, crumbling mansion atop a desolate hill, a family moved in, unaware of the sinister secrets lurking within. Strange whispers echoed through the hallways at night, beckoning them to explore the hidden passages. One by one, family members were drawn into the darkness, never to return. Only the chilling echoes of their voices remained, forever trapped within the haunted walls. Story number 2. The Mirror's Malevolence. A vintage mirror, an heirloom passed down through generations, held a dark secret. Those who gazed into it saw their own reflections contort into grotesque, nightmarish forms. Each night, the mirror released a malevolent spirit that tormented the household. Desperate to break the curse, they smashed the mirror, but its shards scattered across the house, each carrying a piece of the vengeful spirit. Story number 3. The Endless Staircase. An old Victorian house had an attic with a locked door that no one dared to open. One day, a curious child found the key and ventured up the narrow, dusty staircase within. To their horror, they found themselves trapped in a never-ending maze of stairs, where each step led to a different era in the house's dark history. As they descended deeper into the past, they realized they were not alone, and the house itself hungered for their soul. Story number 4. The Cursed Dollhouse. A family inherited an antique dollhouse from a distant relative. As they began to play with it, they noticed that the dolls inside moved on their own, mirroring the family's actions. Soon, they realized the dolls were reliving a tragedy from the past, a murder-suicide that took place in the very house they now lived in. The tiny, vengeful spirits sought to reenact the gruesome events, and the family was helpless as they watched their own doom unfold in miniature. Story number 5. The Portrait of Despair. A grand mansion displayed an eerie portrait of a woman who seemed to age with each passing night. Those who gazed upon it felt an overwhelming sense of sorrow. As the painting aged, so did the residents, growing older at an unnatural rate. Desperation set in as they tried to destroy the portrait, only to find it always returned, more decrepit than before, until the last person in the house had withered away. Story number 6. The Haunting Music Box. A music box with a haunting melody was discovered in the attic of a quaint cottage. When wound, it played a mournful tune that drew the attention of a malevolent spirit. Each night, the music box played on its own, luring the inhabitants into a trance-like state. As they followed the eerie melody, they were led deeper into the heart of the haunted house, where the vengeful spirit waited to claim their souls. Story number 7. The Whispers in the Basement. In an old, decrepit house, a family moved in, unaware of the sinister presence lurking below. Late at night, they heard faint, ghostly whispers emanating from the basement. As their curiosity grew, they ventured down the creaking stairs, only to discover a hidden room filled with shadowy figures. The whispers grew louder, and the family realized they were trapped with the vengeful spirits of those who had perished in the house long ago. Story number 8. The Clock Tower's Curse. A picturesque mansion was known for its ornate clock tower that struck midnight with a haunting chime. Each night, the clock's hands would reverse, and time would warp. Those who dared enter the tower found themselves trapped in a nightmarish loop, reliving the same hour over and over. The chime became a death knell, and breaking the curse meant confronting the malevolent spirit that controlled the clock's eerie power. Story number 9. The Unseen Occupant. A family moved into a charming suburban home, only to realize they were not alone. Unexplained events became a daily occurrence. Objects moved on their own, eerie laughter echoed through empty rooms, and unseen hands brushed against their skin. They hired paranormal investigators who uncovered a dark secret. The house was built on an ancient burial ground, and the vengeful spirits of the deceased were determined to reclaim their resting place. Story number 10. The Forgotten Attic. A family moved into an old mansion with a locked attic. No one in town knew what lay within. One night, a child heard faint, mournful cries from above. They managed to unlock the attic door and found a room filled with dusty old toys. Among them was a doll that seemed to beckon. As they played with it, the attic came to life with ghostly children who had been trapped for decades, seeking companionship. But the more they played, the more the children aged, turning into sinister apparitions. Story number 11. The painting of desperation. In a remote cabin, an artist created a chilling masterpiece depicting a desolate, fog-covered landscape. The painting seemed to change over time, revealing disturbing scenes of suffering and despair. Those who stared at it too long found themselves drawn into the cursed world within the canvas, where they were pursued relentlessly by the tormented figures. The only way to escape was to pass the curse onto another unsuspecting victim. Story number 12. The Haunted Well. A quaint cottage had a well in the backyard. Legend had it that it was a portal to the spirit world. Late at night, eerie whispers emanated from its depths, calling out to the curious. Those who peered into the well saw their own reflection contort into a sinister version of themselves. The more they resisted, the stronger the pull became, until they were dragged into the depths of the well, joining the legion of lost souls within. Story number 13. The Phantom Dinner Party. A grand mansion hosted a lavish dinner party in the 19th century. The guests never left. To this day, their spirits gather each night around the dining table, trapped in a never-ending feast. One evening, a curious couple entered the mansion and found themselves joining the spectral gathering. The sumptuous meal turned into a nightmarish ordeal as the ghostly guests revealed their true, sinister nature. Story number 14. The Cursed Bookshelf. In a dusty old library, a peculiar bookshelf held a collection of ancient tomes, each bound in human skin. Those who dared to read from these books found themselves plagued by terrifying visions and tormented by malevolent spirits. The more they delved into the forbidden knowledge, the closer they came to becoming one of the cursed books themselves, forever imprisoned within the library. Story number 15. The Mirror Maze. An abandoned carnival housed a mirror maze rumored to be cursed. Once inside, visitors lost all sense of direction as they were lured deeper into the maze by haunting reflections. The mirrors revealed their darkest fears and desires, twisting their minds until they could no longer distinguish reality from illusion. Escaping the maze meant confronting the malevolent entity that fed on their fears. Story number 16. The Phantom Pianist. In a grand old mansion, an antique grand piano sat in the drawing room. Each night, eerie music would fill the house, played by unseen hands. The family living there soon discovered that the ghostly pianist had a tragic story to tell through their haunting melodies. As they unraveled the secrets of the past, they realized that the only way to set the restless spirit free was to confront a long-buried family secret. Story number 17. The Lighthouse of Lost Souls. On a remote, fog-shrouded island stood an abandoned lighthouse. Legend had it that its keeper went mad, and now, the lighthouse was said to draw lost souls into its beam, trapping them for eternity. A group of explorers decided to spend the night there, and as the eerie light swept across the island, they found themselves surrounded by the phantoms of those who had perished at sea. To escape, they needed to solve the mystery of the lighthouse's curse. Story number 18. The Cursed Doll Collection. A collector inherited a set of antique dolls with a chilling history. Each doll represented a different tragedy, and they seemed to move on their own, reenacting the gruesome fates of their previous owners. The collector soon realized that the dolls were cursed and that they were reliving the horrors of the past. To break the curse, they needed to confront the malevolent force behind the haunted dolls. Story number 19. The Vengeful Gardener. A sprawling estate was known for its magnificent garden, tended to by a devoted gardener who had met a tragic end. Those who entered the garden found themselves ensnared by the overgrown vines and haunted by whispers in the wind. The ghostly gardener, consumed by jealousy, sought revenge on anyone who dared to care for the garden. The only way to break the curse was to uncover the truth behind his demise. Story number 20. The Endless Reflections. A family moved into a modern mansion filled with floor-to-ceiling mirrors. Soon, they realized that these mirrors were more than they seemed. Each reflection revealed an alternate reality, where their darkest fears came to life. The family became trapped in a maze of endless reflections, where the line between reality and nightmare blurred. Escaping the house meant finding the one mirror that held the key to their freedom. Story number 21. The Spectral Symphony. In a grand mansion, a grand piano played haunting melodies on its own. As the family tried to leave, the front door vanished, leaving them trapped. Each night, the piano's music grew more ominous, and the family members were drawn to it, compelled to play. Little did they know, the piano held the souls of a forgotten orchestra, and the music they played determined the fate of those within the mansion. Story number 22. The Whispering Gallery. A historic cathedral was rumored to have a gallery where whispers spoken at one end could be heard at the other. But the whispers were not just echoes, they revealed the darkest secrets and desires of those who visited. The cathedral's ghostly residents used these whispered secrets to manipulate and torment the living, driving them to madness. To escape, one had to confront their own inner demons. Story number 23. The House That Ate Memories. A nondescript suburban home was home to an insidious curse. Anyone who entered gradually lost their memories, forgetting their loved ones and their past. The house fed on these stolen memories, growing stronger with each forgotten moment. Those who stayed too long became trapped, their very identities consumed by the malevolent house. Breaking free meant piecing together their shattered memories and discovering the house's dark secret. Story number 24. The Ghostly Twin. In a remote countryside mansion, a family discovered a dusty attic filled with old photographs. Among them, a portrait of an eerily identical twin of one family member caught their attention. Soon, the doppelganger's ghostly presence began to haunt the house. The family member in the portrait felt their life force draining away as the malevolent twin sought to take their place in the living world. Story number 25. The Unending Library. An old library held countless books that seemed to stretch endlessly into the darkness. Those who entered found themselves lost among the stacks, unable to find an exit. The books whispered tales of unspeakable horror, and as readers delved deeper, they were drawn into the very stories they read. Escaping the library required deciphering a cryptic riddle hidden within its cursed pages. The end.